Hey guys, so it's Cranetrain. Today I want to discuss a little bit about crane arms and how to utilize them, and we're going to be doing this with plushies. So there's a lot of factors that go into dealing with crane arms. Specifically, there's typically 3 variations. There's going to be a shorter one that's used for smaller prizes or thinner prizes. There'll be the standard arms, which are the most common ones you guys see on any of the machines. And then there's basically about 2 or 3 different sizes of large and jumbo arms. These are the ones that are used for the really big prizes. Things like the 40 centimeter Nemu Neko plushie that came out recently, the new Snorlax plushie, a bunch of things. Anything that's basically over 40 plus centimeters is going to use some of those different kinds of arms. The main things you guys got to keep in mind is some of these will be a little bit crooked, some of these will be straight, some of these will be offset from the other arm, and there's just so much to contemplate when it comes to dealing with the arms themselves that you just kind of got to take a look, and it really helps to watch other players play, learn from their use of the actual crane itself. Another thing to really contemplate is just how far down do the arms go when they actually go to get the prize. How far are the arms down when you actually play the machine itself? So are they already really low that they might be able to push the prize itself or in any way? Another really big thing is, since Toreba uses those proprietary cranes that bypass the error that would normally occur in live cranes, you can actually use the arms to your advantage. They're very strong, they're very durable. I wouldn't worry about breaking an arm on these machines. I don't think I've ever actually seen an arm break, in all honesty. I've seen the tips break off of the arms, but not the arms themselves break them. Another really big thing is, are the arms the right size for the prize? So I've seen jumbo arms put on for very small prizes, which is very annoying, let me tell you. Things such as the Charmander or Growlithe I've seen really big arms for, and the prize just slips right out between them. So while jumbo arms can be really good for some of the bigger prizes, they may not be best suited for the specific setup. If the arm doesn't go down very far too, you really want to pay attention to where can you utilize that. Is this a push machine? Is this a scoot machine? Is this machine going to cause me more headache than it's worth? You also want to really pay attention to how wide do the arms open. If the arms don't open wide enough to get around the prize or scoot it, it may not be worth the attempt. Another really big factor that comes into play, and you'll see it with these dinos that I win, is the prize's shape and how it's displayed on the actual machine itself. So these ones were wrapped and rolled, but the key factor to go after was the part of the plushie that was not rolled up. The reason why is it curves at the top of the head, and if I can get the arm basically just around the part where it starts to curve up, the arm will basically get more leverage underneath the head itself. So this is a great use of the arms in general. Another really great use is if you can manage to get one of those box items or any of those flat items and lift them straight up. Sometimes they'll get caught in the machine in what some people call as the table flipper. It's basically lodged in between the part where the lower arm is and the upper arm is. So if I were to divide the arms for cranes into different parts, it would be upper, middle, and lower, right? It's basically the upper part will be what leads to the crane housing itself. The middle would be the straight up and down area where it bends, that angle, and then the lower would be the part that goes leading to the tip. Really big thing to keep in mind though when you guys are attacking plushies is sometimes you'll end up with a really strong claw or a really strong crane in general, but you'll get stuck in these situations that are just really hasslesome. There's points where you have to learn to walk away. On this Bulbasaur, I probably should have walked away a little bit sooner, even though I did manage to win it in the end. But it was definitely probably not worth the effort I put into it. But I did learn a lot about the crane at that time, and I managed to win quite a few of these, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But definitely one of those things where you have to pay attention to what you're playing for. You also have to pay attention to, is the arm crooked? So if you look at this machine specifically, the arm on the left side looks a little bit cockeyed from the other one, and the right one looks like it's a little bit more inward. These are due to the spring settings on the actual machine inside the housing. So some are set up for a medium or a large arm, and that gives them more or less power. These are all adjustable features in the crane themselves. Another big thing to keep in mind is they can adjust the power of the crane in different regions in the actual machine itself. If you actually go online, you can look at the manual for some of these cranes, such as the Clanaflex 2 or the Sega UFO catcher. The reason why is that you can adjust different regions depending on what the configuration is for your crane. It allows it to be very customizable, allows them to do very unique configurations and things like that. Unfortunately, Toreba does not have their manual for their crane on the internet that I can find, so there's nothing I can really do too much research on in regards to that, but their crane is a fairly standard one. It just seems that they had certain error parts removed to prevent their staff from being overworked. Basically, their trip sensors are a little bit less touchy than other things. Another really big thing that you guys want to keep in mind with plushies is that they tend to be spongy, so they may push back when you go to push at them. So do not be surprised if you push in the same area and it doesn't move for a while, but you push one time and it manages to actually, you know, push through the bars. This is very typical with any of those tougher plushies. Those mochi type plushies, the ones that have a stretchy fabric that's very soft, those ones tend to cause you a lot of problems in the aspect that the fabric gives too much, but doesn't move the rest of the fabric as a result. There's no leverage. It's basically like pushing into one of those memory foam mattresses that they balance a wine glass on another part of the bed. Basically, you're pushing and nothing else is moving. This is great in aspect of the actual prize itself, but it's not great when you're trying to win it. So when it comes to mochi prizes, them being in a plastic bag may actually help you considerably. There are a few times when I have won mochi prizes in person, and it was very difficult to win. One such time was recently when I went to a Taito station in Akihabara, and the mochi fabric was actually wrapped around a pole. I could move the rest of the prize, but that pole was preventing me from pushing it into the chute, which was causing a lot of grief for me. Being in plastic wrap can have its advantages, but it can have a lot of disadvantages as well, so also keep that in mind when you guys are attacking plushies and such. It's very common for Toreba to put their prizes into plastic wrap. This adds to the difficulty for a lot of prizes. It can add to the ease for certain ones depending on how the shape of the prize is, how far down the crane goes, so on and so forth. But the generalized rule with plastic wrap is they put a double-sided sticky tape on these bars, so the plastic tends to want to stick to that a little bit more. Another thing is that with plastic wrap, if the claw is pretty weak or has a very low sensor rating for lifting the prize itself, then it may just slip right off. But as you can see, I just won the prize by lifting it and it falling in between. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed this.